Rock Hudson, Hollywood's scandalous heartthrob. Rock Hudson was one of the most iconic Hollywood leading men of the 20th century, known for his dashing looks and performances in romantic comedies and dramas. But beneath the veneer of stardom lay a life filled with secrets, scandals, and shocking revelations. Here are 10 scandalous and fascinating facts about Rock Hudson that delve into his personal life, career, and the controversies that defined his legacy. Fact number 1. An abusive stepfather and a troubled start. Rock Hudson, born Roy Harold Scherer Jr. on November 17, 1925, in Winnetka, Illinois, endured a tumultuous upbringing shaped by abandonment and abuse. His father, Roy Harold Scherer Sr., deserted the family during the Great Depression, leaving Hudson's mother, Catherine Wood, to fend for herself and young Roy. Catherine remarried Wallace Fitzgerald, whose domineering and abusive nature cast a dark shadow over Hudson's childhood. Hudson described Fitzgerald as a man who stifled his confidence and ridiculed his ambitions, creating a deeply unhappy home. Despite these hardships, Hudson excelled in extracurricular activities during his time at New Trier High School, though he struggled academically. After graduating, he enlisted in the U.S. Navy during World War II, serving as an aircraft mechanic stationed in the Philippines. His time in the military taught him discipline and resilience, traits that would later prove invaluable. Upon returning to civilian life, Hudson juggled various odd jobs, including working as a truck driver, before setting his sights on Hollywood. His journey to Los Angeles in the late 1940s marked the beginning of a dramatic transformation, as he left behind his painful past to become one of the era's most iconic film stars. Number 2. The 27-take humiliation. Rock Hudson's early foray into acting was anything but glamorous. When he auditioned for his first role, his inexperience was painfully evident. Hudson needed 27 takes to deliver a single line during a screen test for Universal Pictures. Studio executives, however, saw potential in his striking good looks, deep voice, and towering presence. He stood at an imposing 6 feet 5 inches. Determined to mold him into a star, Universal Pictures invested heavily in his training. They hired vocal coaches to soften his Midwestern accent, acting instructors to refine his performances, and even orthodontists to improve his smile. Studio executives even orchestrated photo shoots to position Hudson as the perfect leading man. Though his first roles were small, his charm and newfound confidence began to shine. By the mid-1950s, Hudson was one of Hollywood's most sought-after stars, with blockbusters like Magnificent Obsession and Giant marking his rise to fame. His transformation from a fumbling novice to a polished actor was a testament to Hollywood's star-making machinery. Number 3. The secret feud with James Dean. The 1956 epic Giant brought together two of Hollywood's biggest stars, Rock Hudson and James Dean. While their on-screen chemistry captivated audiences, their off-screen relationship was fraught with tension. Hudson, known for his traditional Hollywood demeanor, clashed with Dean's rebellious and unconventional method acting. Dean frequently mocked Hudson for his reliance on his looks, reportedly calling him a pretty boy and ridiculing his acting style. Hudson, in turn, found Dean's brooding intensity and anti-establishment attitude insufferable. The director, George Stevens, reportedly had to mediate between the two to ensure the production stayed on track. Despite their differences, both actors delivered stellar performances, with Giant earning 10 Academy Award nominations, including one for Hudson as Best Actor. Dean's untimely death in a car accident shortly before the film's release added a tragic dimension to their rivalry, cementing Giant as a classic in Hollywood history. Number 4. A marriage to cover his tracks. In 1955, Rock Hudson married Phyllis Gates, the secretary of his powerful agent, Henry Wilson. At the time, rumors about Hudson's sexuality had begun circulating in Hollywood, threatening his burgeoning career. Gates later claimed she was unaware of Hudson's homosexuality when they wed, but biographers and insiders suggest otherwise, labeling the marriage as a calculated move to protect his image. The union was short-lived, lasting only 3 years, with Gates filing for divorce in 1958, citing mental cruelty. During the marriage, Gates reportedly confronted Hudson about his suspected relationships with men, but Hudson remained evasive. The marriage fueled media speculation, and Gates would later write a book about her life with Hudson, further fueling public fascination with their relationship. The marriage exemplifies the lengths to which stars of Hollywood's golden age went to protect their private lives from public scrutiny. Number 5. A secret recording of his sexuality. As her suspicions about Hudson's sexuality grew, Phyllis Gates took drastic measures. She hired Fred Otash, a notorious private investigator known for his work with Hollywood elites, to secretly record a conversation with Hudson. In the recording, Gates allegedly confronted Hudson about his relationships with men, to which he reportedly admitted his homosexuality. This recording became a pivotal piece of evidence during their divorce proceedings, though it was never made public during Hudson's lifetime. Gates later described the experience as deeply painful, claiming she was motivated by a desire for honesty rather than malice. For Hudson, the betrayal was devastating, reinforcing his need to keep his private life hidden. The incident highlights the intense pressures Hudson faced to maintain his carefully constructed public persona in an era when being openly gay could destroy a career. Number 6. The mystery of hidden children. Rumors about Hudson fathering children persist, despite the lack of evidence. Some speculate that during his early years before Hollywood fame, he may have had relationships resulting in offspring. These stories remain unconfirmed, yet they fascinate fans and biographers alike. Hudson's intensely private nature and the guarded era in which he lived leave the truth shrouded in mystery. Whether real or imagined, the idea of Hudson secretly navigating fatherhood while building a career adds an intriguing layer to his enigmatic persona. Number 7. The Confidential magazine scandal. In the 1950s, Confidential magazine, a sensationalist tabloid, threatened to expose Rock Hudson's sexuality in a bombshell article. The magazine had built a reputation for revealing Hollywood's darkest secrets, often relying on dubious sources. To protect Hudson, his agent Henry Wilson negotiated a deal with the tabloid's editors, offering scandalous stories about other stars, including Rory Calhoun and Tab Hunter, in exchange for Hudson's privacy. This arrangement successfully kept Hudson's secret out of the headlines but at the expense of other careers. The incident underscored the fragility of Hudson's public image and the ruthless nature of Hollywood's power dynamics during its golden age. Number 8. The Nancy Reagan controversy. In June 1985, as Rock Hudson's health rapidly declined due to AIDS, he sought experimental treatment at the Percy Military Hospital in Paris, a leading center for AIDS research at the time. Hudson's publicist and close friend Dale Olson contacted First Lady Nancy Reagan, asking for assistance in expediting his admission to the hospital. Reagan, despite her previous friendship with Hudson, declined the request, citing diplomatic and protocol concerns. The refusal drew widespread criticism, with activists and fans accusing the Reagans of turning their backs on a Hollywood icon during a crisis. The incident highlighted the widespread stigma surrounding AIDS in the 1980s and brought renewed attention to the lack of government support for AIDS research and treatment. Hudson's death a few months later on October 2, 1985, became a turning point in raising awareness about the disease. Number 9. The Dynasty Kiss backlash. In 1984, Rock Hudson appeared as a guest star on the hit TV show Dynasty, portraying a wealthy and enigmatic character opposite Lyndet Evans. The storyline included a romantic kiss between Hudson and Evans, which initially seemed like a typical soap opera moment. However, after Hudson's AIDS diagnosis was revealed in 1985, the scene became a source of controversy. Misconceptions about how the virus was transmitted fueled public hysteria, with some viewers expressing outrage over Evans's potential exposure. Evans later stated that she was unaware of Hudson's condition at the time and described him as a consummate professional. The incident underscored the pervasive ignorance about AIDS during the 1980s and became a defining moment in the public conversation about the disease. Number 10. A lawsuit that shook his legacy. After Hudson's death on October 2, 1985, his former lover Mark Christian sued his estate, claiming Hudson had concealed his AIDS diagnosis while continuing their relationship. Christian alleged emotional distress and intentional infliction of harm, ultimately winning a $5.5 million settlement. The case brought unprecedented attention to the legal and ethical dimensions of AIDS disclosure, highlighting Hudson's dual struggles, his personal fight against the disease and the societal battles surrounding it. While controversial, the lawsuit underscored the complexity of Hudson's legacy as both a Hollywood icon and a symbol of the AIDS crisis.